Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm DJ Titan here with Colton Myers, and we're here with the one and only High Contrast, all the way from the UK with Hospital Records. What's up, man? Thanks for coming out.
My pleasure.
When was the last time you were in Dallas?
Long time ago, actually.
2006?
2006, yeah. So it's been a long time coming.
I just want to say, this is probably one of the best drum and bass shows that we've had in Dallas in a very, very long time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to let you know that. Tonight, I heard you played for an extra hour, didn't you?
I think a half hour or so,
Half
actually.
hour?
Yeah.
So you were feeling the 15?
Yeah, I thought,
awesome.
You were feeling the crowd?
Yeah, when everyone's come out and it's such a good vibe, it's just like, yeah, let's carry on.
Awesome. So you played at EDC Chicago last weekend, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. It was kind of wet, but it was great that the crowd stayed there. I thought people might kind of slack off. It's the last day I was playing on the Sunday, and it was pretty rainy, but everyone stayed, and people were taking their tops off anyway in the rain,
Yeah.
So they seemed to have a good time. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how's the drum and bass crowd out there in Chicago?
Chicago's always been good for me.
Really?
I've played there many times over the years, and I don't know, maybe because of the house sound originating in Chicago, they kind of like my style. It's got that housey kind of flavor to it. But yeah, always good.
So how was the set? Was it more like, did you relate to the crowd a lot?
Yeah, at the big kind of events, it's harder to read a crowd, and you've got to assume at like a big festival that there's going to be people there who maybe have never heard you before, as well as the kind of hardcore fans.
Yeah.
So you kind of play a little broader, whereas in club shows you can kind of go in a bit deeper and you just calibrate for each show, really.
Is there a certain track that you felt that was the audience react to the best?
Oh wow!
That new remix, though.
What one was
The
that?
doing it
Would
would.
remix tonight. He also played that new Daft Punk remix, the CLS remix.
Oh,
Yeah, I like the doing it right remix. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always nice that kind of my own tracks seem to go off, and like especially tonight, things like the Basement track remix. That got a big reaction. So yeah, it's cool that those tracks I made, some of them 10 years ago, people still going off to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just to talk about tunes for a second, some of my personal favorites are Racing Green, Twilight's Last Gleaming, Natural High. You have always done the bootleg thing, the Missy Elliott, the White Stripes or whatever. Out of all the bootlegs, what was your favorite one so far to work on?
I love remixing. It's like the hard part of making a tune has been taken out. The hook's already there. I don't know. I think the Gold Digger one was one of the biggest, and I kind of made it and didn't think it was going to be that big or anything, and I played it out for the first time at a hospital show at Heaven in London. And as soon as it dropped, Andy C ran over and rewound it himself. So that was like a big moment for me. I think like back in, when would that have been,
07?
man?
06,
Something like 07, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that tune. I put on 2 mixtapes myself. Amazing work. Bootlegs aside, what was your favorite studio track that you've made so far? Whether it's on an LP, a single, whatever. Which one's your favorite so far?
I don't know, because I make different kinds of tunes. Something like Return of Forever was like something that really kind of crossed over with all kinds of DJs within drum and bass. Before I was sort of just a kind of liquid funk DJ or producer rather, and then with Return of Forever, you had like Ray Keith, Andy C, or everyone was playing that tune, So that was a big track for me, and kind of it's got that I guess the sound people most associate with me of kind of uplifting, slightly melancholy, kind of epic sound.
Definitely. Awesome. Just touch back more on that Racing Green single. Where'd you get that vocal hook? Where's that sample from? If you're allowed to talk about it.
I can't talk about that.
Okay. All good. No big deal. We'll cut that if we need
No,
to.
no.
It's all good. I just had to ask, personal favorite. I assume the same is probably for a lot of your records, considering most of your early stuff, I assume, I don't know, was like more sample based, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And then your more current stuff seems is like real synth driven, Do you want to touch on maybe then versus now?
Yeah, I mean, sampling is kind of what got me into making music. I just love yeah, but also like DJ Premier, that kind of crate digging. I just love finding cool random old samples, and putting them together. But then on my latest album, The Agony and the Ecstasy, I'd made 3 albums already. That was my 4th album, and I just kind of wanted to switch it up, and so I decided to not use any samples on the album apart from the Amen break, just to have some kind of continuity with kind of the drum and bass tradition. So that was like more of a challenge for myself, and maybe some people reacted against that a little bit, like, oh, it doesn't sound like your old stuff so much, but you've got to keep evolving, and really I make music for myself. It's just my own kind of therapy or something. I just a compulsion I have, and it was good to kind of go in and write all the melodies, and I wrote a lot of the lyrics as well, and it was a fun process. But now I'm kind of got that out of my system, and I've started sampling again. So
I look forward to it, man. That's awesome. So talking more about production and stuff, sample days earlier, I don't know if you were into I do know that you're a director and you into like the film and stuff. So how does that relate to making tunes for you, or the software you use, like Adobe Audition versus maybe Logic or whatever you're using? Touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just all creativity. And I approach it all kind of the same. And I always wanted to make music that was more like movies. I'd like to make movies that are more like music, kind of have that contrast. And they're a similar process now. Editing a movie is kind of like making a track in a digital audio workstation. It's why I use Cubase, and you've got the timeline, and that's just like when you're editing a movie in Avid or Premiere or whatever. So there's a continuity there.
Just less hard drive space, right? And less bouncing time.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, to touch more on that, I gotta mention the Tiesto and Underworld collaboration. I know you directed the video. Come on, what was that like?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's high contrast featuring 2 of the biggest of all time, and it's your tune. I mean, that's got to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was nice to find out that both of those acts were fans of my tunes. So we kind of just clicked, and I just thought it would be an interesting kind of challenge to get trance artists on a drum and bass track, but also they're kind of very at different ends of the trance sound as well. So it was the challenge of it, and just how kind of bizarre it was, and that people just wouldn't be expecting that. That's what kind of intrigued me about doing that collaboration.
Very intriguing. I mean, the first time I even saw the thing, I was like, is that Build Right? They're working on his tune? And then the video came out, I was like, there's no question who directed that. It's work of art. Awesome. So a little bit more about production. What DAW are you using now, if you want to talk about it, or any VSTs or hardware synths?
I've always used Cubase. I've never used a mixing desk. I've never used any real analog equipment or anything like that. It's always been just in the computer. I try and keep it as simple as possible, and I guess I am technical, but I try not to think too. Being drum and bass, people get so caught up with toys for the boys, and it's and it can be kind of too geeky, and people getting carried away with the kind of passing details, when really I think all artists should be striving for simplicity. I like minimalism in terms of getting rid of all extraneous elements and just having the essential things in a track. Even if that still sounds very full and epic, I try and just find those things that really are important.
Wow, awesome. A little bit more about gear and stuff, just to be a little more geeky and technical. DJing with drum and bass, especially dubplate culture, vinyl culture, all that stuff's been really, really important. Just, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, the whole dubplate thing was so synonymous with drum and bass, and you had a whole economic system or a hierarchy, going on with the dub plates and the promos and all the record shops, But as soon as the kind of digital age exploded and the internet, everything, and that just kind of fell apart over a couple of year period to the point now where, as far as I know, out of the kind of name DJs in drum and bass, there's only one guy left, which is London Electricity, who's still playing dub plates. Everyone is either laptop or CDs or USB. And I use Serato now just because it became impossible to play vinyl, because clubs weren't looking after the turntables, so because there was hardly anyone playing vinyl anymore, and a lot of the people in the audience, I don't think they were even familiar with vinyl. There's a whole generation who've never even bought a CD. And when the vinyl would be skipping or there'd be problems, they thought I was messing up as a DJ. They don't get that, there's dust on the needle or something. So I just felt that was reflecting badly on me. So I started playing CDs and didn't really connect with that, and then started using Serato with CDs, and I love that, and I don't really miss vinyl, to be honest with you. Switching to Serato kind of renewed my enthusiasm for DJing. So
That's awesome.
I don't see really the benefits of vinyl. I understand the nostalgia, and there's a certain kind of romance to it, but I think it's somewhat overstated and
A little illogical.
yeah. And for me, I feel like my sets have got better since switching, so I don't miss it.
That's awesome. So do you think the Hospital Records vinyl sales are hurting, or are they doing okay, or how's it going?
Well, vinyl sales across the board are kind of, massively down. I think you sell way more MP3s than vinyl. And, an average single, I don't know, 10 years ago might have sold 15,000 vinyl. Now it's more like 1,500 vinyl. But the amount of MP3s you sell is way higher. But yeah, I guess music sales across the board are kind of suffering for various reasons. Music is completely devalued now in the culture. There's so much for free.
But you can't steal a live experience seeing high contrast.
No, that's it. The idea is that people make their money from performing live, But personally, I don't want to do a band or anything like that. It's just not my thing. I like DJing, but the more you DJ, the less time you have making tunes.
Sure,
so,
of course, yeah.
it'd be good if more people bought music. But I understand, it's just how things go.
Awesome. Well, last question. There's this song Basement Track, one of your anthems, one of my favorite vinyls. It has the acapella and everything. I totally beat it to death when it came out. Can you tell us a little bit about when you made that song or how it came about and the first time you played it?
Yeah. As I was reminded earlier, I apparently finished it on the plane coming to Dallas and premiered it for the first time ever in this city. So it's a good job I played it again tonight. I'd forgotten that fact that I'd made it on the way here. So it was good to see it get such a good reaction.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you very much, High Contrast, for being with us today, and shouts out to everybody that you got home. And thank you, Dallas, for the awesome show we had. Thank you so much, High Contrast.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a great night.
We went down into the basement.